Hey everyone, Andy Rafael from eTeknix.com, and it's Monday, so it must be time for another What's in the Box. I always feel weird saying that because at the time of recording it, this isn't Monday. But to you guys it is, so there we go. Let's get straight into it. So we've got 4 boxes here today. I kind of know exactly what we've got, which is always handy to know, kind of gives me a bit of preemptiveness, I guess. First things first though, I'm going to move the small one out. Now, the chassis, I've got 2 chassis here. There's no point me unboxing them because we're actually going to be using them in some other videos, so we want to sort of take them out of the box then. But we can give you a kind of rough, I guess, rundown of what we're going to be doing, when we're going to be doing it, and so forth. So first one is, well, they're both from Riotoro. If you haven't heard of Riotoro, I guess they're fairly new in the mainstream market. They're actually very, very new in the UK. US, they've been established for, a bit longer. So essentially what we have here is the CR500, so the next generation. Essentially, yeah, we've got an ATX chassis. There isn't really too much to say about it without getting it out of the box. Obviously, because this is 2017, there are certain features that a chassis must have to be a chassis. And of course, this has got tempered glass. I don't actually think it's got RGB though. If it hasn't got RGB, I'm going to be really, really disappointed because this can't be a chassis unless it has RGB. So the next one, again from Riotoro, is the CR1088 or the 1088, however they would prefer us to say it. This one is a mid-tower chassis, and if we have a look at the specs, I don't actually think this one's got tempered glass or RGB. We will find out soon, but if it hasn't, Riotoro, we're coming for you. But either way, it's always nice to have chassis, especially from new brands as well, because it just gives us, a bit more of an insight. We like to give you guys as viewers a bit more to kind of, a bit more variety to work with. So thank you to Riotoro and our contact there. So let's get on to the next box. I believe this is actually kind of coinciding with the chassis a little bit. I've said this in many, many, many videos. Whenever we get chassis from manufacturers, so if we get a chassis from Antec, they're not really going to enjoy it too much if we start putting in the Cooler Master Watt Maker 1200 watt power supply and the Noctua CPU coolers. Same with if we have a chassis from Cooler Master, they're not going to appreciate if we put in an NZXT Kraken X42 and a Be Quiet power supply. They're going to want to use their own stuff because essentially these days, generally speaking, anyone who makes a chassis also makes power supplies, coolers, and so forth. So it always makes sense to kind of have that whole ecosystem kind of thing going on. So that's where this kind of comes in. So what essentially we have here is the Riotoro Frost 240. This is quite actually interesting for me because the problem is with AIOs and coolers and things like that, they're all getting a bit samey because essentially what's happening is they're all kind of made by the same people. So Acertech makes some of them. AlphaCool kind of makes some of them as well, so they're all just kind of, okay, here's our design, can you do this, here's our design, can you do that, and they're all getting a bit samey. So it's actually nice to see a new brand come to market to a certain degree and show us what it's, I don't know, where they're going to go, a bit different, I guess. So let's have a quick look and see what this is like. Okay, so you get all your accessories. Actually look quite nice. The brackets are kind of like a, I don't know, like a frosted kind of metal, whatever you call that. User manual, more brackets and everything. Obviously you get your fans with the Riotoro logo on there. Slim radiator, and the main thing I want to look at is the block. Okay, so the block looks a bit different to some. Normally they're either kind of rounded or they're just square with, the logo on there, but this has actually got a bit of styling to it. So I don't know performance-wise how it's going to perform, but either way it's going to look great inside the chassis. So that's the main thing for us. And the hoses are a bit different. They're more like a kind of braided hose as opposed to, I'm trying to think who actually does it. I hate the ones that are kind of like corrugated, if that makes sense. So yeah, always interesting to get new stuff in, especially from new brands. And then this one is from, this is the coolest name ever. You probably didn't even realise. Golden Emperor International Limited. Just have a little think and write in the comments section below who you think that is. Golden Emperor International Limited. So hopefully I've got some nice comments below of who you actually think Golden Emperor International Limited is. It's actually GeIL, which does make sense, GeIL. But it's really weird. I never actually knew who it was. So I ended up getting a text message from FedEx basically telling me that I had a delivery coming from Golden Emperor International Limited. And I literally thought to myself, who the hell are they? And then obviously when it arrived and I sort of delved in a little bit further by looking at the invoice and the packing slip and everything, yeah, it kind of all made sense. But at the time, I really didn't have a clue. Now, we haven't actually worked with GeIL in quite a while. So yeah, it's nice to kind of get back on track with them as well. So I guess today really is, in a way, new brand day. Riotoro, GeIL, you know, I'm happy. I'm not saying, you know, oh, I hate Cooler Master, I hate Antec, I hate Gigabyte, because I know some of the YouTube comments are going to say that, but it is just nice to have a bit of a variety going on. So, packaging wise, lots of packing peanuts. If you watched our What's in the Box from, I think it would have been 2 weeks ago from recording this one, you remember packing peanuts are currently the bane of my life, because I think it was Mayhem's. I think they actually sent us so many packing peanuts. It was unbelievable. So, as you know, GeIL are one of the leading manufacturers for SSD, memory, and so forth. And they have sent us their Evo X, which, of course, is RGB'd. So, if I can actually get into this, I can show you exactly what we have. Obviously, we have cables for connecting said RGBs, because a product is not a product unless it has RGB. But this one's a little bit different. It is actually AuraSync compatible. So as you may be able to see on the camera, these Asus motherboards there all have AuraSync. So essentially you can put these memory modules, which are freaking huge. Sorry, but these are absolutely massive. That's what she said. I'm not lying. I mean, seriously, look at the size of that. I'm guessing when I actually come to test these, normally we'd use a Noctua cooler because I think Noctua air coolers are absolutely amazing, but I don't actually think this is going to fit underneath. But we shall see. If they don't, I've got plenty of AIO sitting behind me that we can use and just kind of, you know, see what the lighting effects are. I might actually hook these up with the NZXT Krakens, or I think I've got a Thermal Take AIO coming, which is full RGB as well. So maybe we can do some nice little lighting setups. Either way, quite light for what they are. So yeah, RGB connector goes into the side there, plugs into the motherboard. Asus motherboard, AuraSync compatible, blah, 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 blah. And away you go. 16 gig, 3000 megahertz, CAS latency 15, 17, 17, 35. So yeah, 2 8 gig sticks. So thank you very much to GeIL. Really appreciate you sending them over. We will get around to them very, very soon. So there you go, guys. I guess the gist of today is nice working with companies, new, old, familiar, everything really. We've got some nice memory that are ROG certified. We've got an AIO cooler to go in the 2 chassis, which are currently sitting down by my backside. And yeah, exciting things coming up. Hopefully we're going to get on to kind of doing video reviews and overviews and all that kind of good stuff on these very, very soon. Until next time, remember to subscribe to get more of this great content directly to your inbox. And we will see you in the next video. See you later.